So today we're going to look at Home Assistant. We're going to look at some of the problems you might have and some of the techniques you can use to find out what's causing them. And I'll point you towards some resources you can use to figure out how to fix them. So I hope you enjoy the video. And actually, really, I hope you don't need the video, but if you do, hopefully it helps you out. So let's get to it. So we're just going to go through a couple basic things that you can look at under Home Assistant. It's basically where to start if you're having issues. It's not a comprehensive look. There's not really any easy way for me to debug any problem that you might come along. If you do have issues and these videos don't get you to where you have your system running, just leave comments and we can see if we can help you out. So anytime you have an issue with Home Assistant, the first place I would always look is the log. So in the install directory, wherever yours might be installed, because there's a few different ways that you can install it, and my assumption is majority of people are using Raspberry Pis. But in my system, it's under its own Home Assistant user and in a hidden directory. And basically it's a file called homeassistant.log. And if you look at the log, it'll tell you any errors that it comes across. Every time it first runs, it'll reset the log to blank. So you can see this server basically started up November 20th. So as you go through this, you can look for any issues that you're having, errors. You can see there's a lot of red herrings here because it's complaining about Chromecasts. Chromecasts don't really work very well on a network. So you're always going to get some kind of problem somewhere. But other than that, you can see actual real errors pop up once in a while, and in most cases, for my system at least, they're nothing I've really had any issues with. And the way you get to that is you can open it up in an editor if you wanted to, but there's a command called more under Linux, and more space and then the file name will give you the contents of the file, and it'll stop every screenful, and then you can just hit space to get to the next page. So the next thing you should do is have a look at the home directory. You can see that when you're going to start customizing things and changing things, you'll see that there's a bunch of .yaml files in the directory, and those are the configuration files that you're going to be playing with. First thing you should do before you change anything is you should make a backup of these files. You just use the cp command and the file name you want to back up, and then I normally copy it to the same thing, and then I just add a back and then the current date, which today is the 22nd, 2018. So if you look at the directory again, you can see we still have our original untouched file, but now we also have a backup, and that backup is time-stamped for the current day. So if you have issues, then you can come back to this file. If you happen to be doing multiple backups within the same night, because maybe you're doing a lot of changes and you're confirming them as you go, then you can add a modifier, ABC or the current time. Time's a good one because sometimes you remember what time-ish you had a good configuration. Now those are the basic places you can go and figure out what's wrong with your system. The next thing you're going to want to know is how to fix it. The best place to look for that is the actual website that the developers of this program have put together. It's an excellent website. Here's your front page. I'll put a link to it in the description. They have a getting started section, and that'll give you your hardware requirements and how to install it. They talk about different components that you can use. MQTT is one of the ones we use a lot with our own systems, but you can use Plex, the Sonos systems, Wink, and there's actually quite a bit more than just what they have in these. If you look down the side, there's hundreds. There's documentation. You can have a look at how to configure the system, how to configure specific things. There's a great list of examples. This is a good place to go if you're wondering how to set things up. There's even a blog. And then the final thing that you want to look at is there's a need help section. And not only do they have a forum where you can get your answer within a few hours or a few days, there's even a Discord chat server where you may get your answer right away if someone's on there and you ask politely enough. Nobody here is making any money to help you, right? So we all have to be polite. So hopefully this helps you get your Home Assistant running and your MQTT. If you looked at the last video, really what we want is once we have these running, and as we go along and we add new features, I'll show you how to add the features, but you need to get the system running first of all, or you're not going to have a lot of fun with the IoT stuff that we do. Any sort of home automation, it's not the only thing we do on this channel, but over the first few weeks of it that we're running this channel, we're going to be doing quite a bit of it to get our system up and running. So those are some real simple things you can look through to figure out what the problem is if your Home Assistant isn't working properly. Once you get that behind you and you get a little more comfortable with editing some of those files, then all the configuration that we're going to be doing as we go along will be a lot easier. So hopefully all that will help you get through and have a running system, and we can get back to these projects.